Hello and welcome to the podcast The Three Musketeers. I'm the host Alex Leopold and here are my co-hosts Moa Lundin and Tobbe Johansson. So guys, how were your holidays? Moa, Tobbe?
Well, mine was good. I didn't do so much. I just hang out with friends, and after the holiday, I went to Gran Canaria, and it was very warm and nice.
How enjoyable! I'm so jealous of you because I didn't do anything this holiday. I was just at home doing nothing. How about you, Tobias?
Are we talking about the Christmas?
Yeah, about the holiday.
I was with my friends and my family celebrating Christmas and the New Year. And I didn't do much. I went to the gym and that was what I did.
How productive of you? Because as said, I didn't do anything. I was just staying at home and had a pretty boring holiday. It was relaxing, calm down, but
That is nice as
Yeah.
well.
awesome. And the subject today is about alienation and loneliness, and that how that can affect people, and how it matters with characteristics of a person, and how their appearance can be a part of that. Moa, Tobias, do you want to start or?
well, why don't we start by talking about why do we judge people?
Why do we judge people? Well, that's because often it's how that we're not maybe familiar with that, or that's not something we like about the person. So we judge them because they're not how we're used to people that we want them to be. So we're often a bit uncanny of them and want to stay away for a bit. Or that's at least my take.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And also that because of that we're judging people, that may also lead to that we don't let people into our groups, and that the person that we are judging become lonely. So I think all the subjects are connected in some way.
Yeah, and I think I don't know why we just judge people, but I think it's because they are weirder. We think they're not funny or they are just acting weird and not getting in the group as much as the other people are. And in most of the class, I think it's just one person that is always lonely. In almost every class, I think it's that. It's so.
That's quite depressing a way of thinking about this subject. Um, if I'm honest, like thinking that someone is always lonely and because of their characteristics, because people maybe think they're weird or they don't want to be with that person, so you alienate that person because he's too weird for you, so you can't be near him. I can't say that I'm not doing the same, but when you really say it out loud, it really becomes weird and how judgmental all of us are actually,
Yeah,
and that's quite fucked up.
yeah, it is.
It's in my last class we really alienated a lot of people. It was one person that had a weird arm, and we just laughed at that person, and it wasn't really nice.
Yeah, I can't really deny it because we didn't really alienate anyone in my class. Rather said we judged everyone loudly, and so everyone was attacked. For example, me because I was hairy, loud, and childish, and climbed everywhere. So I was a weird ape. We had people who were weird because they didn't really have any hobbies, so they studied a lot, and they got picked for being the biggest nerd and knowing everything and getting horny because of tests and doing schoolwork. So we had a pretty weird class, but in the end, everyone thought it was funny, so no one really cared about it. But we still judged people and tried to alienate it, we can say, because we tried always to be the one picking on the other and not the one to be picked. So it was quite it was a survival game where we tried to be the one not being judged. So yeah.
That's quite interesting because in my class it was the opposite. Everyone got along with each other and everyone was nice to each other. So it's interesting to see how big of differences
But,
it could be
my-
from class to class.
My class was also very good, but it was some people we just
Didn't get along with.
like the person that she had a really short arm. We call her T-Rex, and
That's
we
me.
did. I wasn't that. I just laughed at the word that we called her a T-Rex.
Yeah, it's
but
quite
some
funny.
people that was really mean
Yeah.
Called her T-Rex in front of her.
Yeah,
That is really mean.
I'm not the person to like that. That's quite despicable.
Yeah.
But when I hear maybe that creative word to call somebody, I can't withstand not to laugh because I think it's quite creative, mean, and funny.
Yeah.
Because I have this sadistic humor.
Yeah.
And we did it like a joke that it was a
one-time thing, like.
No.
Okay.
We had this really weird joke. We thought like it was a sickness. She had that arm. It was a sickness. And there was a chair she sat on, and we write her name on that chair. And if anybody else sat on it, they will get a short arm and get sick. So a guy that sat on that chair just I'm going to die! I'm going to...
That's so mean.
Yeah, not to say anything, but your class is not kind and extremely bad.
And it was the one girl that when she sneezed, it sounded not weird, but...
Loud?
No, really quiet.
Yeah.
I don't know if
like,
you know.
Achoo!
Yeah, really quiet.
Yeah.
And we kind of
picked on her for
that.
Tobias.
I wasn't
No, you were just the one to laugh.
Yeah, I was in the group, but there was people that was much more worse than I was.
But if I come with this, have you ever tried of helping her and stepping up for her instead of just staying behind and laugh at her? I'm just asking.
Yeah, because it's a discussion that some people say that if you just stand back and watch and laugh, you are just as a big bully as the one who's saying the things and picking on the person.
Because you're not doing anything. So, I can't really say that I'm pure here because I was a fucked up kid. I could do the meanest things. If I got mad, I would drag the person down to the ground and kick and punch because I had extremely hard time to manage my anger, and I got picked off about that, and in the end no one really wanted to pick on me anymore because I was too dangerous to pick on. So it got good for me in the end, but everyone was still uneasy near me because they never knew if I was going to release the bomb or not.
Wow.
Yeah. No one can really see that now.
But
Not really, no. Not on that level, at least.
How dare you say that on that level?
Well, I mean, as much as I know you were like in the corridor, from out of nowhere you can just scream, and I don't know where that comes from.
Out of nowhere you can do just weird things.
Why do that?
But you don't get
alienated, no.
And it's not like violent things. It's just...
Yeah, but why I do those weird things is because often I'm bored or think the area or the situation the group is in is quite stale and boring. So I'm always trying to live it up a bit by being the childish one to make everyone laugh, because in my opinion, if everyone is just sitting by themselves with their phone, isn't that quite lonely and boring to not have a conversation or anything,
Yeah.
just sitting by themselves. If I try to pick on myself doing weird things, may be weird, but then the situation can change and everyone can be closer or having a good time at least, even if it's
Yeah.
on my cost.
I think our class is good, really good, and don't alienate much people. Somebody gets alienated, but not as many as I think. I think many of in this class wouldn't. They
They
couldn't.
are the ones who was alienated and got together in a class.
Yeah.
That's my take on
Yeah,
it.
because I feel like it was a lot of people that got picked on when in the 9th grade. But yeah, so everyone understands how it is to get picked on, so they don't pick on each other on the same level at least.
Now it's just ignoring that person.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that that's good, but that's the situation. And if you have a problem with the person, it's quite hard to move on with that person, even if it is alienating that person. Because if you think that person is childish, uh, have a short temper or something, a flaw that you can really have a hard time co-working with, it's quite hard to move forward, even if you feel it's bad what you're doing and you want to change the situation, but you can't because you have the problems with the person's fundamentals, and that's quite weird. Wouldn't you say so, Tobias? Or
I don't know. I think about our class. I don't think many of the people in this class would or can be in my last class. They wouldn't. How do you say it?
15.
Yeah, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
Yeah, but if I change the question, if we look at our class, and we have two big groups, and then we have people who are alone, how would you think about getting that lonely person into one of the groups? Would you think that's possible, or is that person too alienated already, or can you make the problem better?
Yeah, it's the person can be in our group, but we have just alienated a person that much that it's just you can alienate a person that much that it's just how do you say
So, how
It would be embarrassing.
embarrassing to be with that person if you alienate so much.
isn't that also a take on alienation? That if a whole group alienates one person or one thing, and somebody in that group doesn't have a problem with that, but if that person goes to that thing, they will also get alienated. Isn't that also a weird situation?
Yeah, it is. And of your question that you asked, Tobias, I think it's possible for someone who's alienated to get into the group, but in that case, the one who's alienated needs to want to come into the group and not like go away by themselves.
Yeah,
to
and not,
try, but that also means that we in the group maybe needs to give them a chance to try.
Yeah.
So we may need to take the first step, but the person also need to do something themselves.
yes, you commit to it and show that they
Yeah.
actually want.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I think in our class, if we think of the same person, the person I think of, if we take him into our group, he will be annoying because he's really annoying.
Yeah,
That's why we
as I
alienate the
said,
person.
you can have problems with their
Yeah.
fundamentals, and that's how that person doesn't really fit in with our group, because the most of the people in our group have problems with his or her fundamentals. It's nothing new or weird. It's just a thing that happens, and it's hard to make it work if that happens. It's no one's fault, but it's hard to make it work if it that comes by. But move on now. With second sources, we've looked up what is it? Wreck-It Ralph and the Ugly Little Duckling. Do any of you want to take it as examples for how we take it with alienation, loneliness, character, and appearance?
Yeah, I have seen Wreck-It Ralph, and in that movie, the big guy, Ralph, is in the game. He is really mean and smashing houses, and there is a person that's living in the houses that are scared of him, and then it's a good guy that fixes the house.
Fix it, Felix, I think.
Fix it, Felix. Yes. And after, when the game is over and they want to be in the house and hang with
and eat cake and
yeah, and do fun stuff. Ralph is just outside the house and laying his, I don't know,
brick bed, I think it
yeah,
is.
it's a brick bed.
Quite
And
sad.
one time he gets in the house and everybody just look at him and thinks he's weird and he shouldn't be there because he's evil and they are nice people.
Yeah.
But he is really nice in the beginning.
Yeah, that's also a thing where people judge just the cover and think like they're not dependent on that person, even if it's maybe a core thing for their society or system to work.
Yeah.
Like how people maybe are extremely irritated by wolves in nature because they're coming and killing your animals and such. But if you take them away, a main predator goes away, and just a lot of other animals like deer and such can just grow exponentially and kill all the plants that your cattle was eating, and then you have a deer problem instead. And
Yeah.
it's like that. If you take one thing that's in your will that's important, another problem comes by that's even harder.
Well, in the movie, as you said, it's kind of the same thing, because in the movie, the villagers tell Ralph that they can make it without him and they don't need him. So, of course, Ralph gets upset and he runs away, kind of. So he goes into another game to get a gold medal because
To show that he's worth something.
yeah, exactly. But the next day, when the game shop opens and Ralph is gone, the owner thinks that the game is broken. So they are going to get rid of the game. And of course, that becomes a big problem now, because they didn't realize that Ralph was important and they really needed him to survive. Because then, when they realize that, then they regret what they said and that they've been mean to Ralph.
Yeah, that's quite a story.
Yeah, and I think it's often be like that sometimes that you don't realize how much you need a person until they're gone.
Yeah.
And you don't realize how much something means until you experience it yourself or it's missing.
Now we don't have this movie as a topic, but have you seen the movie? What is it called? It's about a person and the things in her head.
Inside Out.
Yeah, there is a angry guy and there is a happy and a sad.
Yeah.
And the sad person gets alienated as well because.
But isn't she alienated by happiness? Because happiness thinks just that loneliness is problem. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
she tries to hide away loneliness. So that Riley, the person they're controlling, will always be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's, in my opinion, that's actually a point where a bully is attacking somebody, because she thinks happiness just thinks she's the best one and thinks she's the only thing that matters. So if she takes away the other things that are important for a person, that will be better. But in honesty, it's not, because it's
can-
hard for somebody to live when they can't ex, no, not exchange, but show their emotions and live through everything. Because if you're not sad sometimes, how can you become happy again?
Yeah.
Or if you're angry again, how can you get motivated again?
That is what they realize in
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah.
The sad person makes them happy.
Yeah.
And that is kind of the same thing as Ralph. Them.
Yeah.
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 They.
Yeah, they always realize that they need what they lost.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But now when I think about it, we haven't really talked about Frankenstein yet, and that was a important part of the podcast.
yeah.
So
They've just spoiled movies.
yeah. So Frankenstein, an extremely good case of alienation because of appearance. Because when you look at it, Frankenstein has in my opinion, an extremely interesting and cool personality behind an horrible and disgusting appearance.
Yeah.
Because I can't really remember the exact quote, but Frankenstein's monster said something like this, that maybe he's made of many parts, and which part of him is it that makes him remember how to play the flute? Which part of him is it that makes him remember politics and yada yada yada? And that really makes you wonder how it's, how.
But Frankenstein isn't mad or evil in the beginning. He just want to meet persons.
Do you mean the monster or?
Yeah, the monster.
Ah, okay.
And when he comes out, the
Disgusting. Abnormal, not normal.
the house, when he comes out the house.
Yeah.
And meet
Yeah,
and
escapes the
persons,
house. Yeah, and
person
people see him.
sees.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know how to
Yeah.
react, and he's very hungry and
Yeah.
want to want food, and he sees food and take it, and then everybody sees him as he's stealing food, and they want to.
Yeah, and they alienate him because they think he's the one who's spreading the famine and plague. So
Yeah.
they trying to kill him to save everyone
Yeah.
else.
Because he's ugly and stealing food. And
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of he becoming afraid of humans, because the first impression he got of them,
It's quite
was-
traumatic.
yeah, and that they wanted to kill him, and he didn't do anything, and that's quite
But
frightening.
he
How
stole food.
Yeah, but taking a piece of bread isn't worth killing you,
No,
really.
I think I know why he got angry, because he stole food, but you shouldn't murder a person
No,
for that.
but in that time they would like cut off your hand and you're good to go.
Yeah.
But
they wanted to hang him.
yeah, but that's because they thought he had the plague, and he was the one spreading it.
Yeah, okay.
And if he was the one, then everyone was about to die because they was quarantined and were not allowed to leave the city. Yeah, but move on.
I think the people, the villagers in the movie, they are really quick to just assume things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when when Frankenstein's little brother disappeared, and they found this girl that worked for the family, and she has just been looking for him, but they found a necklace, I think.
Yeah, the boy's necklace.
Yeah. So they assumed that she killed the
Him.
boy. So they hang her, but she didn't do anything.
Isn't that
And-
quite normal for all people in the world? I would say we're always quite quick to assumption.
Yeah, I was going to get to that.
Sorry.
Well, I think they were really quick, as the same when with Frankenstein. They just Frankenstein's monster. They just assumed that he was the one spreading the sickness, and they did not ask whether what had happened for real. And I think that's very common today as well. So I think we're really quick to assume things and judge people. And
Yeah.
Also, one thing I thought about with Frankenstein Monster's personality is when he's in the woods helping this poor family with their farm, where he's hiding and learning how to be a human and what emotions are and how to read and how to interact with this kind family who's loving each other, and where he helps them in their dire need of help by acting as the good spirit of the forest and hiding, and the only person in the family who really knows that it's a person helping them is is the old father who's blind.
Yeah.
So when he's meeting Frankenstein's master, it's not really something that happens because he's just seeing a good-willed person helping him.
Yeah.
But when shit happens and the blind father's son finds the dead owner of the building next to Frankenstein Master, they think that Frankenstein Master will kill them all, so they scare him away and run away from the building because they don't want to get into trouble.
Yeah. And I think it's with the grandfather as well. He see the person inside, behind the mask.
But
Yeah.
he can't see because he's blind.
Yeah, but that's the good thing.
Yeah.
That's the point. He don't see the appearance. He see inside of him. He see a kind person who helps the family and just wants good. And when they talk, Frankenstein's monster tells him that people have been mean to him and things like that. So he's just like a normal human. It's just that his appearance is the thing that makes it difficult for him.
Yeah, but I think if Frankenstein wouldn't have had scars in his
on his face,
he was the same person that helped the people and.
Are you suggesting that he's being made by a lot of parts?
No, if he
was
wouldn't
just
have
a
those
normal
scars,
person.
yeah,
Okay.
he wouldn't be the
Alienated.
attacked by the family when he talked to the blind guy.
Maybe because there's also a thing, people quick to assumptions. If you see a dead person next to a live person, then it's like, maybe not trust this guy. I mean, if I saw you next to Mua's dead corpse with a knife in the hand, I would be quick to assumption that you would want to stab her.
Yeah. I think everyone get that thought.
But Frankenstein looks very scary as well. That's why.
So you mean if I have like a fucked up jaw, so I have always a bit of my mouth open, and I stood next to Mua's dead corpse, would I be even more suspected of her killing because I was looking weird, or
no.
then I?
But in the movie, because it was long ago, they he looks scary, and he's that's in a long time ago. It was really, if he looked scary, it was.
It was a problem. You would get alienated because of that. Yeah. Are you thinking of this like witches in back in the days?
Yeah.
If you were called a witch, you would probably be hanged.
Yeah.
Okay, then I understand better. Okay.
But I don't. Frankenstein was. I thought he was weird in the end when he killed the boy. Frankenstein was in the.
But he did that because he wanted revenge for what Victor Frankenstein had done to him, and he wanted he wanted his father to respect him, and he wanted someone that was his equal.
Yeah, he was in the. Uh,
Yeah, he.
Our lesson is over. It actually was over a quarter ago. 15 minutes ago.
Okay, thanks for this podcast. My name is, I'm the host Alex Leopold, and these are my co-hosts Moa Lindin and Tobbe Johansson.
yeah.
And we see you next episode.